No,
And
you
just
need to get that out there. Get that out there now.
Okay,
We need to
CJ,
get as
hold on,
much
CJ,
advocacy.
CJ,
Go
CJ,
ahead.
CJ.
All right.
I need both all male AMAB people in this room. I need you all to take a breath real quick. I
I'm
know
sorry.
you
It's
all
making me
have the
really mad.
best.
I'm
I
sorry.
understand, and I know that it makes y'all angry, and y'all have the best
Yeah.
intentions. But what you're also don't understand is this is not an easy process. So getting it out into the world for sugars is not easy.
Nope.
It is
Yeah.
emotionally exhausting. It is
It's
most
trauma.
frustrating.
And it's
trauma.
also
trauma.
very expensive.
But even
What y'all need
you
to
know,
understand,
lawyers.
what y'all need,
but to actually get that paperwork in front of me and look at it and see that is, like I said, I've been sitting on it for a minute. It took me a long time just to make that phone call, and when it came in the mail, it was a whole nother cycle of triggering and processing that I had to go through. So it's, as much as I want to throw it out there for the whole, the amount of invalidation and the amount of times I've been told it's my fault, and all of that, I have to process through it and be strong enough. I haven't even opened it. I haven't even opened that envelope yet, like, let alone filled it out. So it's difficult. Like, the entire process of losing my child and everything that's happened. I mean, they waited till I fell asleep from exhaustion after giving birth to tell me I could never see him again. Like,
That's horrible.
Everything that happens to people of color through our medical and our governmental system, it's like, that's why the reason I talk about it is so people are aware. Like, I myself have been through so much trauma, and I hate saying that. I hate that I say that actually is a reality in my vocabulary. Like, I have been through so much trauma just because of who my ancestors are. Doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not alone. And that shit doesn't make sense to me.
I'm sorry.
It's not a normal that should be normal. It's not normal. It's not right. It's inhuman, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We love you, Sugar.
Sorry, Sugar.
But I think, you know, the more I hang out with y'all, I'll be able to get the strength to do it. Eventually.
Hey,
we got your back,
We're here to
girl.
support you every step, love. When you're ready, you know that we are here.
And if anyone wants to relive trauma and take steps forward, we're all here for you too. Just find the people you're comfortable with and reach out.
Yeah, Therapy 101 here.
Yeah.
On the MIMS channel.
Yeah.
Look, Charlie has said it multiple times that this is therapy for some of us.
Yeah.
It really is. And going a step further, it's not just like because like people who are afraid of therapy or people who don't, whatever. Some of us don't have access to therapy. We don't have access to talk these things through with other people. Y'all are those people for some of us. That, in essence, is therapy.
Facts.
I fucking love y'all.
Man, I woke
spend
up
more
to
time here than
I know that the male,
like my own friends in real life.
I know that the male-born individuals in here, you know, y'all are fucking awesome. Y'all are supportive of all of the women, all of the birth givers. And I am happy to call all of y'all my brothers. And I know that you have all of the best love and intentions in the world when you're like, I'll throw myself in front of you. I'll stand up for you. I'll do all of these things. But unfortunately, because of the way white supremacy has worked thus far in this country, there's stuff that even all of my, you know, palm-colored brothers in this room can't even do. There is some stuff that it is just dismantling the entire system. Because if MIMS or CJ or Mikey, one of y'all wanted to throw yourselves in there and try to help sugars because of the system, because of the medical system specifically, there is nothing that you can do. y'all are not married to sugar.
Yeah.
So you don't quote
Right.
unquote, and I use
Yeah.
this term very lightly, but y'all are not married, so you don't quote unquote own sugar.
Yeah.
So now you can't even sign away or sign into or do anything like that. As friends, as family, there's literally nothing that you can do. And that
Other
is the
than
way
provide
they intended. That exactly. Other
comfort
than to
and-
provide
and
comfort
support.
and emotional support. This is the
Right.
way they intended for it to be. This is how the system works. Everybody says the system is broken. It's not broken. This is how it was designed to
Yeah,
operate.
it's the intended to work this way.
Yeah, but I can tell you
Especially
one thing
towards
I
the
can do.
lower middle class, you know.
I can find my lawyer friends and I can give them money and I can say, go find this sugar person over here and help her ass out and let's start a fucking class action lawsuit. I can get pissed and I have a white voice. I mean, why not use my fucking privilege for something that is decent? All
Yeah.
right.
And that's hard to find, you know, with those that
Honestly,
do that.
I
you
can't
know?
go with you. I would look for the girls. I would literally look for the girls that had gone to the same treatment center as I did, and find or at least see in the treatment center how many instances like this had happened.
Well, at
Like
this point, I agree.
Because I feel like because I was in a situation where I was government property at the time, that they got away with it because of that. And it makes
How
me
does that
want,
happen? How do you
find-
become government property?
because I was a ward of the state. Like I basically
Okay.
Yeah, I basically turned myself over to the state because, well, I was also going through, I was executing a sentence at a time, as well. So, like, technically, I was in treatment on a furlough, so I was allowed to do treatment, and each day in treatment counted as a day in jail as well. So I was killing two birds with one stone, trying to execute my sentence so I would be off probation when I got my son back.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand that if, for example, if you get arrested for drugs, right, and they send you to a treatment center as opposed to sending you to jail, you are still a prisoner. You still have a number attached to your name.
I was actually in jail though. I was actually in jail for theft. It was a felony theft from when I was like 18. Like they kept fucking with me, so I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna do my prison. I'm just kidding. Get out of here.
You are still technically a ward of the state. You are in the state's custody.
All right. Okay. I got you. So does
Yeah,
this?
we're going
even when they
live
took
here on
me away from
TikTok.
my parents, we were a ward of the state.
Just a heads up, we're going
Yeah.
live on TikTok,
For me.
and I titled it, Did the Republicans
And like
vote
not
for
only
JJK?
that, like Minnesota
So we're
has
gonna have-
super archaic laws. Like their laws are absolutely like if y'all ever get a chance, go and look up Minnesota's laws. They're freaking crazy. Like my son's father went to prison.
What up,
5
Forrest? How are we doing? Nitwick, how are we, friend?
for arson and assault. When he beat me into labor with our child, he got 18 months, and he had been to prison 5 times prior.
How is everyone doing?
And within the time that Trevin, by the time he passed, Trevin was 10 or
Doing
11
all
when he
right.
died. He had been to prison twice more. That's like, but as a white man, like
Yeah.
their laws are ridiculous. They're absolutely insane. Yeah, the system up there is like hella jacked, but there's also a really big native population in Minnesota, a very
Yeah.
large indigenous population.
I
Are
thought
you
you guys.
OSHA?
We also have a lot of refugees in Minnesota as well.
Doing okay. Still getting suppressed by TikTok, though.
Hey, sugar.
I see the cubicles.
Hey,
It's
I'm
Thomas.
curious.
Yes.
I'm curious. Do your guys' highway signs? What do they say about the picking up hitchhikers as inmates? Because in
Oh,
different
yeah,
states
they're-
they say them different ways.
Yeah, they say prison area, no hitchhiking zone. Or it'll say it is unlawful to pick up hitchhikers. So
Or
let's
just
say
say hitchhikers may be escaped inmates.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it said.
when you get
Yeah.
close to the prison, like when you're like around Moose Lake and up in that area, that one's a maximum security prison. So they have them like
So how we doing,
everywhere,
TikTok?
like no hitchhikers.
It's like
In Texas, it basically
Yeah.
says this is not a hitchhiking zone.
Andrew
Yeah.
is suppressing me.
Did you
again.
know that there's
Yeah.
5 prisons in Minnesota? There's 5 prisons for men and 1 women's prison in Minnesota.
I think
Because
it's
it's
more in Texas.
Kind of them upstate New York.
There's a butt ton in Texas.
That's insane to me.
Like I said,
Minnesota's
one
only got a
Minnesota.
population of
that was shut down.
That's a good one.
yeah,
I like
Minnesota
it.
has a population of
Kim
5
Kims?
million people. Like that's not a lot.
So
No,
which way did the
no,
KKK
no.
vote in 2020?
That's
Tell me in
like
the
the
comments.
population of South Florida.
Genuinely curious.
It's insane to me.
Hold on, I have to adjust.
15, 16, 17,
Uh,
18.
I
There are
don't
19
know
prisons
how many
in Texas.
in like
That's true.
California.
And how many
But-
we have?
Having worked for corrections, there's just put out an acronym, and I can probably name the
How's
prison.
everyone doing today?
There's a
had
fuck
to
ton of
remember it.
juvenile detention facilities in Minnesota. There's a lot of like wilderness rehabs and residential schools and Catholic schools and boarding schools. Like they have, I believe, between
We're done
Minnesota
here?
and
Done
Florida,
where?
they're like tied for the amount of treatment centers they have.
Yeah, he's back
Wow.
up to his old tricks.
Yeah, it's a state that's literally built on institutionalizing. Like there's so many state hospitals,
BA,
like
what's
really
up?
creepy, like big buildings, like in a cul-de-sac, like for like and not like for when that people have like consumption that have all been turned into like jail
Hey, dude.
and treatment
Where's
centers and
everyone watching
stuff.
from? I'm in North Carolina. Probably you had your hand up for some time. Do you have something to add?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Sugar, I want to say that you're an amazing person. You're
Howdy,
you're strong and intelligent, beautiful, and
Only positivity, no
really honored to
negativity
know
today.
you.
All negativity
Oh,
will be
Can
booted.
you guys hear me okay? Because
I'm not playing that shit.
I'm not used to these headphones. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyways, I was gonna say,
They love
not to
Trump.
take away from your experience in any way.
Interesting.
When I was,
Oh no. Who cares who
I had my
KKK vote for? I do. You don't?
my second child, the doctor tried to force me to sterilize and wasn't going to let me leave the hospital until I sterilized.
Just call it the middle of North Carolina.
And if I hadn't had my mom there and threatening to call a lawyer, I wouldn't have been able to leave with my kid.
So this is common like everywhere. This is crazy.
Everybody should
This
care.
is the first I've
Yeah,
heard.
Everybody should care
that's
if the KKK
nuts.
votes
Like
in
while
one
you,
way or
yeah,
the other.
you know, there's women that they'll
Everybody
get a
should care.
C-section and they'll
Thank
flip
you.
them right then and there.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank you. It's nuts.
And it doesn't happen to I don't think the more upper class. You know what I mean? It's like they want to root out our
No, it's because I was poor and
Hang
she
it
knew
out,
I was
hang it
native.
Okay, it's not just the upper
Yeah, no.
class. These stories
full of,
don't necessarily
red flakes in
happen
there.
to palm-colored women very, not nearly as much as it does
Look
to
at that
women.
TikTok starting to take me
Say
off.
to
Look, I
you
bet those numbers are
tons
gonna drop real fast. Watch
I
that. 52?
I grew up
40
with
something.
mainly palm-colored women, like
Look,
in my
50.
close proximity.
Mm.
Most of my closest friends, who have all given birth, none
Yeah,
of
of course
them
they don't care
have
who the
horror
KKK
stories
votes
like
for.
this.
Only those who have empathy do.
The one woman that has a horror story is because she had an adverse reaction
Yeah,
to the
you
medication
reevaluate
that
your
no one
racism.
could have known that.
Absolutely.
It's not the same thing as them intentionally causing harm during a birthing process, after a birthing process, when you're parenting your children. So I would also like to point that out, that it is also very much white supremacy because it is very much racially based as well. I'm not saying that white
Yeah, do you
AFAB
support the
people
KKK?
don't experience some kind of,
Yeah. That's a
difficulties
good
and
point.
stuff like that,
Do you
because they
denounce
are
white
still
supremacy?
uterus owners at the end of the day. But just acknowledging that when you have melanated skin, they don't see your humanity.
right. Yeah, no, I agree. It's horrible. It's
What is that noise?
People talking?
Are you doing in class?
Shudu missed the sound of children in the home.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, no.
Makes me smile.
Yes, we could hear you the
Yeah,
entire
we can
time.
hear you,
Mims.
Mims. No, it's cool. It's cool. No, Mims live. This is your lives,
He was just
Mims.
being respectful. I was like, I wish I could hear cuttlefish, but I can't. Somebody's
It's okay, Mims. I was throwing things at the screen.
You're frozen, Mims.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I
frozen.
know.
I'm gonna take a screenshot.
Oh, damn
He
it.
I
dropped.
Mims
Oh,
left
then
his
send it
phone.
back to him, you know.
Mims, you were frozen, and that
was like-
freeze frame that you were in, it was looked like either you were about to go off with somebody, you about to throw down some like badass lyrics, like I don't know, anything was possible in that moment.
Eminem.
No, we didn't, unfortunately.
I got it.
I did.
Oh, did you?
Sugar did. Sugar did. Sugar was like screenshot.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah,
I did too.
M&M's, get it? M&M's.
Okay, so community,
Shut
I need to jump in real quick. This is kind of important. Anybody who knows Sequoia on TikTok, we have been trying to raise money to get their glasses. They have not actually received any donations at all. So if anybody's intending on going live, if anybody would like the background that Stacy made to where you can share it on your other socials, but they are not even able to drive. Like they put their phone almost to their nose. They have very, 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 they said, as they said, I can't see shit. I got bad eyes. So if you guys are more wanting the backdrop to share on social medias, please reach out to me, to Stacy, to Tizzy, Prof, anybody that y'all see that hang out in the decompression at night on the panel, because we all have access to that background. I'll get that to you right now, Thomas.
Real quick.
No, I am not, Mims. I actually just dropped this week's mutual aid list in the regular mutual aid because I still can't do the other one. Yeah, 1 second.
Mims, really quick, I think you're being reported on TikTok. You're duper laggy. To save your page, I would drop and go back.
Yeah, that post that I just showed you guys that I posted about the little girls dancing at the Trump rally. Yeah, they said no, you can't have that post put back up. Yeah, and all I said is he likes. Yeah, we all know Trump likes little girls, and that's all I put.
Yep.
I wish him would.
How did you get a violation for? Wait.
Right.
Wasn't it that one where it was she was on the like a school board at some point? She works for the school. What the hell?
What?
For that guy? Great move.
Andrew Stanley.
Well, looks
Y'all
like
wilding out this morning.
fuck Andrew. Should I make it say fuck Andrew Stanley or just thanks Andrew
Well
Stanley?
done. David Duke energy.
Say
Thanks, Miss. Thanks.
I was eating tacos the other day and they broke. Thanks, Andrew Stanley.
Yes.
And they broke. I'm all like, is it bad that when I hear that, and like my tacos broke, I'm like, why people taco night? I'm sorry. No, I'm still very sad about my tacos on Friday.
I have this little chalkboard that's in the shape of a heart, you know, that I write a note to my wife on whenever she comes back from being on her trips. And this last one I left is I love you more than Donald Trump supporters are batshit crazy.
Wow, that's pretty intense right there.
And
That's
because
a
you guys
lot.
brought up tacos last week's, it was I love you more than there are tacos on Tuesday.
Wow.
Solid.
You better get our taco bouquet.
Well, what's up, morning, y'all?
It's Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh yeah,
Tulsi Gabbard's a Republican
She's
now.
the only Democrat that voted
No.
with the KKK.
Tulsi Gabbard's a Republican now.
Yep.
Good
I
morning
know,
to
I was
everyone
being
that just
funny.
came in.
Profit.
I got permission to be here because I got like not dumped but dumped. So remember the guy whose ex-girlfriend kicked in the door?
Oh shit.
He decided to go back with her because they want to give it one last try and they're going to change their numbers and not
You
communicate.
still had a
with
key.
Yep, and will not communicate with ex-partners. And like
That sounds like some drama right there.
My biggest problem with
I'm
this
sorry,
is I'm
Jasmine.
upset because this dude is about to go back with a bitch that beats on him. And I'm upset. I am. I don't like when I make mistakes.
Oh, we gotta whoop ass now.
Right? We about to roll out.
Yeah.
No, but the problem really is though, like we never talk about men that experience domestic violence. We never talk about it.
Nope.
And I genuinely do care about this person. And he is genuinely in a situation where someone is going to assault him if they don't like, and you cannot force people to do things. But really, it bothers me a lot. So I don't like when I miscalculate, and I don't like when I can't fix a solution at all. This is what I cannot fix.
Pretty natural.
I'm sorry, Jasmine.
It's okay to feel that way. You're gonna feel that way when you're somebody.
I love you.
If you care about people, then you're gonna feel that way whenever you wish that you could help them make better decisions. There's nothing wrong with how you feel at all.
I have a problem with it because he's not upset and she's not upset. And now we're all upset because I'm upset. And so
Those are really good lyrics though.
Get out the guitar.
So on my day off, I got to come into work because they're like, what else can we do with you?
Love you, Madison.
Oh, you guys are too nice. What are you guys talking about today?
POTUS.
Right, country songs.
Oh, we were talking about a lot of
And we start making the arrangements on who's driving, who lives furthest west, because it's probably best for you to be the driver so you can swing through and pick everybody else up on the way to get on over to North Carolina.
No, we don't like. I'm not wishing him. No, but really, though, he didn't do anything to me. He was never my boyfriend, right?
Oh, I ain't saying that. I ain't saying nothing about him.
I just really feel like we have to call out that like men get abused too. And one of my staffers said they're not together because they want to be. They're together because they have history, and people have a hard time breaking those manipulative bonds. And so I don't
Yeah,
know.
that is
It's not
facts.
very presidential of me to be crying because of domestic violence.
Right. I was
Actually,
in
it is,
I was in a
in my
domestic
opinion.
violence relationship.
How did you get out?
She ended up getting arrested because she broke a big giant Corningware plate, you know, one of those big not big enough to hold a turkey, but big enough to hold like a ham or something. She ran up after first what happened is she bit my ear really hard this last one time and virtually ripped just the outer side of it. And I pushed her
Oh, Mike
away.
Tyson?
No. This is the girl before my wife.
If it was his wife, he'd be dead.
Anyways, she exactly. I pushed her away, and when I pushed her away, she tripped over her own feet and hit herself right here on the edge of the dresser. And
let me guess, you got arrested for that.
She lied to the police and said that I straight up hit her, punched her in the face with my fist. But of course, they're smart enough to see the straight line across her face from the edge of the dresser. And before the cops got called, because the neighbors called the cops, she ran up behind me and kicked me with her foot to kind of push me forward, and then ran up against me again, and then hit me with that big old Corning plate in the back of my head. Cut me. I still actually have a piece of the Corning plate that I was gonna wear for a necklace that I was gonna make when we went to court and everything. But yeah, it was like that for a little while, even before that. You know, she would actually, on purpose, we'd just be laying and she'd be pissed off and she would reach over and just do the whole dick slap, but not really a dick slap. She would pound.
Mikey, no offense, but she must have been the best fucking lay in the whole goddamn world. I swear to God. Otherwise, I would have walked out of there so fast.
She was pretty crazy, you know. But it was because she's the mother of my child. So, you know, that's the situation that, you know, like you guys are talking about, you know, you find yourself still in that situation because you're trying to make it better for, you know, maybe there's a chance that we could make the child's life better together. And it just got out of control. But all that she did enable me to go through court and prove that she was a pretty much psychopath. And I got full custody of my son, and she'd never been part of it since. So it was hard to get out of.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Mikey.
Hey, it's in the past, long time ago. Thank you. Yeah.
And I should have led with a trigger warning. I'm so sorry, you guys. I did not mean to put you guys in a negative space.
That's okay. It's
good.
Take a breath, POTUS. Take a breath, POTUS.
Oh yeah. It's fine.
This is the space for the heavy conversations. This is why while we're all here, we have this space. MIMS has opened up his platform to give us a space to have these heavy conversations. We don't talk about DV enough when it comes to male identified individuals, because I myself am a survivor of domestic violence. I've been watching the chat and I see that Nick, Mikey just shared his story. This is something that I know that me, Stacy, and others, we are constantly when we're on live, we do bring up these topics, trying to normalize it, to let men know, look, we do know that it happens, and that we are we're giving you, my door is always open. I try to be that person to let men know I see you and I know that it does happen. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that, one, you can't cry, two, that means that you ain't going to get your ass kicked by your domestic partner. What happens to me can happen to you. And I'm fully aware of this. So I try to talk about it. I try to normalize that topic to let men know that they are also seen. Women are so quick to scream that men are emotionally, they're emotionally unavailable, that they don't have the emotional intelligence required, all of these different things. But in the same breath, you don't want to acknowledge that there are men that are literally out here getting beaten, and then want to flip around, oh, well, he's a man. It doesn't matter, because then if he tries to fight back, he's not allowed to because he's a man. So he's got to sit there and take that beating.
Exactly. And that's why I never get arrested. I never raised my hand to her.
This
I
is
pushed
why
her away.
I try to normalize these topics, because it is a catch-22 in so many different ways when we're talking about domestic violence and what can and cannot be done. This is why this happens with men, and why men stay silent, because y'all are supposed to be the tough ones. And I say y'all because, again, I am a uterus owner. by society standards, they see me as a woman because I'm not going to have surgery. So if I get people, if someone, my partner put his hands on me, then I was seen as this delicate little flower in the moment. I know that having a uterus is the only reason why they took me seriously when I had the cops called. And I didn't even call them, the neighbor did.
Yeah, same with me.
But if one of y'all had called, they're going to look at you and be like, really? Really? I'm seeing more and more videos pop on my TikTok with men recording, showing clips of being abused by their AFAB partners.
Yeah, like the one MIMS showed with the
help.
slapping.
Trying to get help.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you did.
Why
So
did
it
you
happened,
get a
and-
violation of that? Why did you get?
I was gonna say it's because you pissed off Andrew's family.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah. Thanks, Stanley.
I'm telling you, I'm
Yes.
thanks Stanley shirt for you, Mims. Thank you, Andrew Stanley.
Because October is domestic violence month.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, I have.
Yep.
Yeah, it got bad. It got to the point to where she pulled a knife out on me. So so the situation that happened was
Yeah. My ex-wife did that.
She so I was coming back. I had worked late. I had worked an extra shift with a chef that I was working with, and my ex-wife at that time, she was very, very heavy drinker, which is why when I left New York, we were married. This is the reason why I tried to, again, save the relationship by myself trying to slow down on drinking. So I completely, by the time I got to Texas, I literally didn't drink for like almost 2 years. So in these 2 years, my ex-wife at the time, she said that she was going to slow down, but she never did. It actually got more intense and then more intense and more intense. And so one night out there, I was working shift. I was coming home and I told her the day before, hey, I'm working an extra shift for a chef because he needs help. So I went and helped. I went and helped him, and I came home, kind of late, and she was waiting for me, like all like just really inebriated. Like, I mean, when I walked through the door, I opened the door, and you could like.
I'm trying to pin it.
Why would she say that? Why would she say that?
I tried to pin it. It won't let me. Oh, somebody
Screenshot.
I got you. I got it pinned.
We
This
report that, right?
Thank you, Tenchi.
No one should be
Yes,
hit.
many
Like, that's
times.
not even funny.
Yeah.
No.
You're fine. But when I came home, anyways, we got into an argument, and I was raised by a single mother. I had stepfathers, but mom was doing the work. And so I was raised, just no matter what, don't ever put your hands on a woman. That's what my mom taught me, and I understood that because my mom was also a victim of it as well. And at that time, I realized it and started recognizing it. My mom's going through the same. My mom went through the same thing that I'm going through. I'm verbally being abused, and now this night was basically the straw that took everything. And she came at me with the knife, and her brother in the scuffle, because he was trying to hold her back as well from her coming at me with the knife. and he fell. He hit his head on the table, and he started bleeding on top of his head. So she was like, she called the police. I was like, one, if you call the police, I mean, if you call the ambulance here in Texas, it's not like New York, where in New York they'll just tell you, hey, separate, go to another place. It's a lot different. In the South, if you get into a fight, somebody's going to jail. And so when she called the ambulance and whatever, because he was hurting. And so I walked, I had a store right down the street. So I walked to the store, and as I'm coming back, I see the ambulance stands and I see blue lights. So my first thought, as a black man in a domestic violence situation is, my black ass is about to go to jail. They came up to me and he said, hey, are you the guy that was involved in all this? I was like, yeah. I was like, look, she was really drunk, and she got into an argument. I told her I was working late, blah, blah, blah. I explained the story. And he looked at me, and I'm literally as soon as I get done my story, I turn around to literally get ready to be cuffed. Like, this will be the first time ever in my life that had ever been cuffed. I'm like, fuck, I've gone almost 30 years, never been arrested or anything. And here I am, like, first year in Texas, and I'm about to get arrested. Well, he looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, somebody's going to go to jail tonight. So I was like, I guess I'll just have to go. He looked at me, he was like, no. She admitted to verbally coming after you and trying to assault you. So she's going to jail. So she went to jail. She stayed in jail for a week. She wanted me to bail her out. I wasn't going to. For what? You came at me with a knife, and she was, it was all apologies all week, but literally, she had the week to sit on it. And first thing, which again, I was an enabler in this, which I didn't realize until, a few years later after my divorce. But when she got out, first thing that she wanted me to do, because it was a Friday when she got out, we went straight to she told me, she was like, take me to the liquor store. First thing she said out of her mouth.
God. Of course.
And yeah, so I think another year later, it was just arguments. And so I was like, well, I gotta go. I filed for divorce, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Because
Jamal.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really share that with a lot of people, because just like you said, we've always been told as men, hold your emotions back and things like that. And, screw that. Like, we got to cry once in a while. We get, it literally will drain you mentally if you don't get it out. And, and
it's like hauling bricks, man. It's like hauling bricks. Every single little brick adds up, man. And you get to the point where you're hauling around a freaking wall. Yep.
Yeah. So that's why, like I said, that's why I appreciate, I've come to terms with it, of course. It's been so long, I told, my current wife and whatever, and when I told her, it was like I said, it was a relief. Like a lot of pressure came off of my shoulders, and she understood and accepted, and she just held me and talked to me, and just was like, look, you don't have to worry about that no more. We're not in that situation, not in that situation no more, and that's not even gonna happen. And like she's been 100% fully there, and again, like that's why I was like I hid it from my parents for a long time, because my parents really loved her. Like they loved her a lot, but they didn't know about the abuse in the background. And when I finally told them, they were like, "Oh my gosh, she did that." It's like, yeah, like so, yeah. Thank you guys.
You inspired me, man.
Hey, no problem, man.
Thank you, Jamal.
One of the hardest parts is feeling responsible for being quiet for the other person.
Right.
And